family entertainment.
And every Sunday with the Edmonton Oil Kings at Rogers Place is a family fun Sunday.
Featuring a full concourse carnival with bouncy castles, face painting, and more.
Plus, a post-game player autograph session after every Edmonton Oil Kings Family Fun Sunday matchup.
The entertainment value is king size.
The best day at Rogers Place starts at $20 a seat at oilkings.ca.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 EEE. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the two best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific. Happy New Year from Metal Supermarkets. They'd like to thank you for making them your place to shop for metal and for quick, efficient precision cutting and metal bending. If your resolutions for 2026 include a new project, commercial or residential, they're here to help. And speaking of resolutions, I've taken up pickleball.
11-0. I win.
Great. Now I can nap.
It's best of 3.
Not in my kitchen, kid. Metal Supermarkets, the local convenience stores for Southside, West End, metalsupermarkets.com.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, Oilers start slow, finish brilliantly, and send everyone home happy, but with high anxiety. Same as it ever was. Plus, Super Bowl a week away. Pitchers and catchers packing their bags for Arizona and Florida, I think a couple of weeks away. And CFL making news as well today. The Lowdown brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Family-owned, community-driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. As you know, we are on YouTube and Sports 1440, iHeartRadio, sports1440.ca, and Radio Player Canada. After the show, Apple and Spotify podcast. We tweet it out on X. We're on Twitter at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, at jfenwick04. You can text or call anytime, 833-401-1440. You can call us, but, it kind of takes away from the show. So texting's best, 833-401-1440. Okay? Very busy show. There's so much happening, breaking news everywhere. And we'll have it all for you over the next 2 hours. First, though, talking about your favorite time of year. Right now, we've got pitchers and catchers almost here. The NHL is in full bloom. We've got the curling first versus second qualifier going on right now. Wild times in every sport, really. And the Olympics just around the corner. This is a highlight. Not the highlight for me. And I thought you might want to know the highlights for these two gentlemen I'm about to introduce, so I will. His favorite time of year comes when the Raptors have a playoff game the same day as the Flames are involved in a draft lottery. That could happen. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick.
Yeah, those would be pretty magical days. I miss sitting down to watch a Raptors playoff game. So
I mean, that East is wild, right?
Yeah, the East is wild. They're number 4. Some of the numbers are kind of damning. They're not a very good 3-point shooting team.
Need to make a trade.
Yeah. They need to. And personally, I think Brandon Ingram's the guy that needs to go. No disrespect to Brandon Ingram. I think he's a good shot maker.
His family's very nice. I don't know why you don't like him.
I imagine they are, but just the numbers just aren't good, and there's some character problems for sure.
His favorite time of year is any college football Saturday that Jimmy Butler is playing an NBA game. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not going to be for a while, but it'll happen next year. It's Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger, everybody.
Does sound like a great Saturday. Oof.
Man. But what's your favorite, honestly, both of you, what's your favorite? For me, it's baseball has to be on. I like the Stanley Cup final to be on. So I would say either like May, June, or October for me, because in October, hockey starts again, and baseball, there's nothing better than a World Series.
You're talking best sports month?
Yeah.
I think the correct answer, I think, is October.
Okay.
You got playoff baseball, World Series baseball, college football's in full swing, the NFL's in full swing, CFL is coming down to the line, end of the season. It means a lot there. And then also you don't quite have it, but NBA and NHL, you're right on the doorstep. I think it has to be October. March, though, just because of March Madness, is a close second.
Yeah, and for you, Josh, the Flame season ends every April. That's probably your favorite month.
April actually is my favorite month for sports. We got the NBA NBA playoffs starting, NHL playoffs starting. The Masters always kicks off April.
Yeah, you're right.
You get the finals for March Madness at the beginning of April. It's just like it's a really nice month altogether, because the middle part is when important games are played in sports before the playoffs get going that really determine final seeding, particularly for the bottom feeders. So I love the month of April also because the Masters, the most magical time of year.
It's just such a great weekend. And
However,
of course,
I don't know how they're going to top last year.
It was amazing. Lots to talk about off the top, though. If you haven't heard, Catherine O'Hara passed away at the age of 71, and a brilliant actress and a very, very funny comedian. She was on, obviously, SCTV. That became famous by producing their shows out of what is now Global back in the 1970s and early 80s. She was hired by Saturday Night Live, but went back to SCTV before she appeared on camera with SNL. She was in Home Alone and all of the following Alones, Beetlejuice, Dick Tracy, and most recently Schitt's Creek, where she was, in my opinion, that was her most fantastic role. It is a loss of Canadian comedy royalty, I think, today. And I'm flashing back to losing our nation, losing people like John Candy as well. So I wanted to put that out there. Catherine O'Hara passed away, 71, earlier today, reported. You guys have a favorite Catherine O'Hara? Is it Schitt's Creek or is it Home Alone?
For me, it's Home Alone. That's where I first knew her. And honestly, I was not a big Schitt's Creek fan.
For me, it's also Home Alone. I'll always think of her as the mom in Home Alone. And also my step great grandma was her drama teacher in high school.
Wow, that's amazing.
Cool little tidbit. Yep.
7 Degrees of Catherine O'Hara.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, like Kevin. I didn't really do the voice that well, but you guys get what I was going for. Like, yeah.
It was a little more desperate.
Beetlejuice. And she was great in the studio that just came out this past year.
Oh, yeah.
The
She was
studio with Seth
hilarious
Rogen. She
in the
was great
studio.
Man.
So good in the studio.
Well, anyway, that's like, I know a sports show, but I feel like that's one of our funniest, most amazing, and most impressive individuals certainly of my lifetime. And these cats too are younger, but they were certainly impacted by her career as well. Okay, Oilers last night, San Jose Sharks. Look, they look so ill-prepared at the beginning of the game that nothing you can say to defend them is even worth uttering. They show up late. They look like prima donnas. They are not prepared. They get their show run constantly early. It happens too much for it not to be an issue. And I read people saying, well, that's a coaching issue, but I think that's an individual, every man issue, right? And I'm not going to blame the goalie today. There was people on my blog last night who were ripping the goalie. I'm like, well, how the hell are you going to stop that? You know, you've got 2s on 1s, 3s on 1s, 7s on 1. They're going in from Laredo, from the moon, and nobody's playing. The top line and the top pairing were most responsible, and those are the guys you count on. And later in the game, lo and behold, they just do their magic. And it's like you can get mad at it, and I understand, and I'm sure the coaches are like up till 3 a.m. rerunning the tape and saying, how does this keep happening? But the other side of that coin is Connor Ingram didn't have like a lot to do by the midway point of the second period. In the third period, I mean, he could have like pulled up a chair. This Oilers team is so talented, they can win by playing about 3.5 minutes of hockey, and they did it. And you'd like to say, man, they got to get that out of their system by playoff time. Sure, but they are here. They're an enigma wrapped in a riddle, and if they don't ever win a Stanley Cup, one of the things we'll talk about for exactly one forever is nights like last night. Because beating San Jose is one thing. But if you go down 3 Cobb to the Florida Panthers again or Carolina Hurricanes, sayonara, good night. Not coming back from that. The Oilers are not disciplined enough, I think, to win a Stanley Cup. And I'll just linger here before I let the boys talk about it. When the Pittsburgh Penguins in the early 90s had some of the same issues, they went out and got Brian Trottier. When the New York Islanders were not able to get over the hump in the late 70s, they went out and got Butch Goring. Both men were third line-ish, second line-ish Trottier, but third line-ish centerman by then. And I look at this team, and I watch last night where the coach just scraps the third and fourth lines for parts, and I go, who is the Brian Trottier of this era? Who is the Butch Goring of this era? Who's the guy who doesn't have to necessarily have won the Stanley Cup? Goring didn't win one before he got to the Island, but has the presence to calm this team down when they need it. I don't know who it is, but they have to find that guy. JMO. Maybe it's Corey Perry. All right. What did you guys think of the game last night?
Yeah. Okay. So I thought it was over after the first period. One thing was, like, obviously I don't blame Connor Ingram on any of the goals there. That second goal was a really nice move on the breakaway. Who had their second goal?
Graf, I think.
Yeah, like it was just a real nice move on the breakaway. But it looked to me like after that, Connor Ingram looks a little bit shell-shocked. Like, he obviously didn't let another in after that, after the third one. But when they were coming at him, he almost looked like he was saving them by accident, which was just kind of something I took note of. Obviously, if you're San Jose, when that game is 3-1 with like 4 minutes left, you think you have this thing wrapped up, all for it not to be. Incredible resolve by the Edmonton Oilers. Like, I can't sit. It's about W's and L's. So I can't sit here and knock a team for winning the game, despite maybe not liking the path it took to them getting the win. Like, you won the game. That's what it's about. It's about putting wins together. Now they have a 3-game win streak. That said, the flatness they possessed for such a large portion of that game, I do feel like that needs to be addressed in capacity.
Well, and they got to do it soon, because this is a different team, not as experienced. You don't have Corey Perry on a depth line. Josh.
Yeah, Josh here.
Good shout, Josh.
Never gets old.
You're right. They did have that guy already. I think it is Corey Perry. Like, I mean, he's doing wonders for the Kings when he's on the ice. And so I really think it's him. But yeah, the fact that they played 20 minutes last night, basically, and won the game. Insane. There's something wrong when 2 Thursdays in a row I'm at curling and I'm not on the ice for very long, but the game starts and I look up and I go, oh man, 1-0 already. Look at, oh man, 2-0. Oh my God, 3-0 already. I think I just looked at the screen 3 different times in 30 seconds and the score is totally different. That needs to get shored up. They need to come out with more pace if they want to win the Stanley Cup final. That's just the way it is. You need to play a 60-minute game.
Unless Dominic Hasek's out there, you're right.
Unless Dominic Hasek is out there. That being said, I thought Curtis Lazar had a really good game last night, as did Trent Frederick. I think even Jack Michaels said there was.
I think Trent had I agree.
It was one of the best games he'd seen from Trent Frederick in a while. But like, I left the curling rink after the second period and went, oh yeah, I better go home and finish this up, whatever. Forgot, and then went, oh man, I'm sure the Oilers lost this. And then to see that they won 4-3 in overtime, I'm like, what the hell happened?
Did you face the dog-faced boys again that's at the curling rink last night, or?
Well, we did win 10-1. The score was 9-0 after 4.
What was the name of the team?
They were the High Guards.
Okay, what was the previous week?
Previous week was the Screaming Emus, who almost
Right.
came out with a win. They might have. I don't know. Rick, if you're listening, we finished them off in 4.
I would like to watch Emus curl.
They were making shots last night. They were playing next to us. I was looking over. I was like, damn.
Maybe they were embarrassed and they decided to practice midweek.
No, I think like the week last week they just had a bad week. We were making our shots, they weren't making theirs, and that's just sort of the way it goes.
All right, 12:13. We're burning daylight on the show. So quickly, Trey Ford released. Elks not surprised. Still disappointing result for a fairly high draft pick back in the day. And I know that you're going to have an article up at Elks Nation. Tell us a little bit from your viewpoint, not to give away too much to the article, but your view of Trey Ford's release.
Yeah, of course, because we want everyone to go read the article. elksnation.ca should be up later today. It was expected. Everyone knew it was coming. At the winter meetings, Ed was asked, he was like, hey, are you like trying to move Trey? Are you taking calls from other GMs? And Ed was just like, no. And you kind of like, listen, everyone knew he was getting cut. You just paid Cody $390K. Like you gave him number one money. You knew Cody was going to be your number one. Trey was due a roster bonus on February 1st. I thought it was a little bit later, but February 1st. So you knew he was getting cut. Everyone knew he was getting cut. It's not unexpected, but it does kind of leave you feeling a little bit like, did we as an organization really give this guy the best shake? Did we give him everything he could to succeed? Like he got pulled last week. He got pulled last year after a game where he was terrible. Like make no mistake, 4 for 12, 34 yards, like terrible. The game before that, he had a perfect passer rating. And he never saw the field again. He never saw game action after that game he got pulled. So you are kind of sitting there being like, could this have gone better? Like, did we do everything we could? Like, what's his future going to look like? I believe he's still talented enough to play in the league, but it's going to take a change of role. It's going to take a change of style. There are going to be things that need to go into it. But as far as the Elks go, as expected.
Is there a team in the CFL that you would like ideal landing spot? Like Trey Ford, you call him and say, sign with this team.
Yeah, I would say Montreal, I would say Montreal too as well, but I would say BC because I like the idea of like Nathan Rourke as a Canadian quarterback. And
having a backup who's also
doesn't hurt your ratio.
Right.
And then Montreal, I like that. This is Declan here, by the way. And then Montreal, I like them schematically.
And he could back up Jerry DiTilio.
Well, like the thing is, like him and Davis, like they kind of play a similar style. Like Davis likes to move, he's mobile, he likes to roll out, like he likes to use his legs. He's kind of creative, if you will. And I think Jason Moss would be a good coach for Trey Ford. So I think those would be the two spots. Then also you kind of just envision him in an Ottawa jersey, like it makes sense. But they're like 3 quarterbacks deep already, so it doesn't make sense from that perspective.
Minnesota Twins and Derek Falvey. He was their president, baseball and business operations guy. Have parted ways, and reports of the Minnesota Vikings announced that general manager Quasi Adolfo Mensa has been relieved of his duties. What's going on in Minnesota with their professional sports organizations?
It was funny. Brandon Douglas, the Duke of Delburn, he said a thing. Was like, did the Vikings ownership just like wake up this morning and go, my God, Sam Darnold's in the Super Bowl? So I think I think he affected that a little bit of like, hey, you let this guy go. And like JJ McCarthy was not very good this season.
And dude, honestly, as well, like Daniel Jones was
the backup quarterback for the Vikings last year. And he had a great year up until, week 9, essentially. But also, sort of a like they don't draft very well outside of the first round. But he made good moves this offseason. If they had signed Sam Darnold, Connor brought this up, they wouldn't have had the money to bring in the additions that they did. And so sort of a catch-22 that way of like, well, they didn't do one thing, but they got to do a bunch more, which again, the Vikings still weren't very good this year, but that was mostly on the back of JJ McCarthy not being a strong fit at the quarterback position for them. So I think mostly it is like this Sam Darnold going to the Super Bowl sort of thing where they're like, I can't believe we let this guy go. You're out.
And they were 9-8. It wasn't like they were, the Giants.
Yeah.
But they had significantly higher expectations.
They won what, 14 games last year?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, when you say
and honestly, like, kind of choked it at the end too.
Yeah.
Like, should have maybe even been better than that, if you can believe that.
Yeah, when you go, you know what? We
Were
have this
they-
14-win quarterback, and we're just going to let him go.
Was their season more or less disappointing than the Dallas Cowboys?
I think their season would probably be considered more disappointing than the Dallas Cowboys.
Should the Dallas Cowboys fire their general manager?
People have been calling for that for a long time. I'm not quite sure that's ever going to happen at this point.
Is it a good idea?
It seems like he's a good friend with the owner, so maybe they just
maybe.
Who's the GM for the Yankees? Is that Schottenheimer? No, wait, that's not right. Steinbrenner.
Yeah,
Hal Steinbrenner. He's friends with the Yankees owner. He's been the GM for like 30 years.
Isn't Steinbrenner the owner?
Maybe Steinbrenner's the owner.
Yeah.
Anyways.
George's boy. All right. So we're going to take a break. On the way, rumors. Declarations coming at 12:40. What will we hear from you gentlemen then?
Top 5 unks still doing it.
Uncles?
Yeah. Unks in sports. Old men still doing it.
Oh, so it's not uncles, it's old men.
Unks. Yep.
Wow. Okay. Rumors straight ahead. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
The Bricks Friends and Family Sale is back. And for 4 days, we're extending our VIP offers to everyone. Get up to 30% off sofas, sectionals, bedroom, and dining furniture. Up to 40% off select mattresses. Plus, receive a 5% instant credit towards sleep accessories when you buy a mattress $7.99 or more. And buy more, save more. Get up to $1,000 off select major appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Hey, Gary, is that your dad?
No, this is Evan, the new sales rep I hired.
Oh.
First impressions matter, but when hair loss takes over, it can feel like you're not being seen for the maverick you truly are. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we know that hair loss is more than just a cosmetic issue. It's personal. Let's discuss all the cutting-edge options available so you can make a great impression every time.
Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru. Engineered for Canadian winters, built for real-life confidence. Tackle the ice and snow with Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive, delivering the power, control, stability, and grit you need. And when the temperature plummets, you'll cruise in comfort with heated seats and heated steering wheel. All this plus peace of mind with Subaru's top safety pick status for 19 years running. This winter, it's time to get you into a Subaru. Visit Subaru.ca today.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick, Friday edition. For those asking, Lansky is in Mexico. Zuatenehu, Mexico, looking for Red and Andy Dufresne. It is time for Rumors, presented by Great Canadian Solar. Great Canadian Solar has been helping homeowners and businesses harness the power of the sun for 15 years. Invest in solar and yourself. GreatCanadianSolar.com. So, a few things you know about the game last night, the Edmonton Oilers. People are picking up on my conversation about Trottier or Goring, a center, a third-line center, who can come in here and settle down the bottom six. Somebody suggested on my blog today, hire Craig McTavish to help out. Man, that's not a bad idea either. But Ty Guy says, LT, Goring and Trotz are legendary. How about Ryan O'Reilly? So here's the thing about Ryan O'Reilly. In Nashville, $4.5 million, and is a UFA in 2027 summer. So you could make that work by trading Mangiapane and having them retain. So that side of it is, doable. There's a few things that probably make it difficult. One is, and not to put too fine a point about it, but if they're trading O'Reilly, there's going to be a long list of teams who might have interest in it. As far as O'Reilly's bona fides, at 5-on-5, according to Puck IQ, he plays almost half of the game against elites. In 341 minutes against elites this year, that represents 46% of his total ice time. So almost half of his time at 5-on-5 is against elites. His dangerous Fenwick, very famous statistic, made by a very bright man who also had children, and is 45.4. That is low, but relative to the rest of the team, it's just a little underwater, minus 2.2. The bloom may be off the rose a little bit, but O'Reilly probably has enough left to help a team. Well, let me ask one of the Fenwicks, Josh, and then I'll ask Declan. O'Reilly, is that an option? Is that something you like?
Yeah, I think O'Reilly's an option. I mean, it's not the Ryan O'Reilly that once was, but serviceable. One of the youngs to still be doing it for real, but maybe not one of the top 5 in the NHL. But I think he can affect winning hockey.
And he'd be playing a third line role, right? Yeah.
And would help settle whatever's going on down there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Bring some consistency, I guess.
What are your thoughts on that, Declan?
Yeah, I like Ryan O'Reilly pretty much just as much as I like anybody. I think in years past, like the 4-5 hit AAV would have given some people maybe trepidation, hesitation.
Yeah.
I agree. Like I like him as a 3C, and you look at some of the other dollar amounts getting shelved out, like maybe not quite high as 4-5, but like is he for what he's going to be able to produce? Like I think you're fine with it. I'm fine with the move. I'm not slobbering over the prospect of getting Ryan O'Reilly to come play my 3C, but I think it would be an upgrade. And I think it would be a good guy to get. But it's just I'm not groveling over it. Like we have to get this done no matter what.
Yeah, he does fit the loose description of Brian Trottier in 91 or 2, and Butch Goring in the spring of 1980, I believe. Here's the problem with older players. Pittsburgh's seeing it now. They announced today that Evgeny Malkin and Chris Letang will miss practice, and they're bumps and bruises that happen with older players, and that is that's going to happen. Any player, it could happen with the Oilers. We know Ekholm was out recently. The idea of having Savoy on this roster and eventually Ike Howard is to cut down on that. So you don't necessarily want to go the other way, but O'Reilly's a rental plus a year. That's one area that, because you don't want to do too much damage to your cap at the deadline. You want to have enough left over that if you do need to go get a substantial player, you can do it. We'll see how it goes. But O'Reilly is a little different cat than Bobby McMahon, who cost less than $2 million and is a fast winger. O'Reilly is, it's reasonable speed and a big man, and he's a tough guy. He can give you that edge. But might be a bridge too far. If he is going to get dealt, there's going to be a lot of, teams interested in him. No doubt about that. So we haven't talked about the Super Bowl recently, like in the last couple of days anyway. Are we still on Seattle? We're still on that Seattle train and we're not getting off of it?
I still am. I don't know about Declan, but yeah, I don't know. Every passing day, I feel better.
I'm still definitely good show. Declan here. I'm still very much picking Seattle to win, but I've kind of come around on maybe what the Pats prospects could be.
Interesting.
Like when the line was released, I actually would have had it closer than 4.5. I would have had it at like 3.5. You know, people talked about like, that's crazy. The line should be bigger. Tease that down. I still like the Seahawks to win. I kind of went one direction where I was all in on the Seahawks. But the Pats, like, you know, say what you want about their schedule, say what you want about the quarterbacks they've faced, and but like they're there. They got a really, really good head coach in Mike Vrabel. And they have a quarterback who is going to be either 1 or either 2 in MVP of the league voting. And they have a really sneaky defense. And they can run the ball with a couple guys like they have, and they scheme things well. I'm picking the Seahawks, but I'm more, maybe it's because I've been drinking so much Seahawks Kool-Aid that I'm coming back down to earth a little bit with the Patriots. Can't count them out.
I just want a good game. I don't care who wins. You know, when your team wins, Philadelphia Eagles, I think you get like a 5-year window of just pure love. It's like the summer of love every year for 5 years.
Depends.
I think it depends as well. Like, I think if this Seahawks team wins, that's a 5-year window. With you being an Eagles fan, I do think your roster is more in a spot where like one and then 4 years of bad football isn't, and not that this year was bad football. I'm just using as an example. Like, that might not be good enough.
Yeah. Howie will fix it. I have great faith in Howie.
He's a great GM.
He's
a great GM.
All right. Speaking of great GMs, there's a lot of rumors now about Giannis and the Bucks and where they might move. You know, Raptors have been mentioned. Lakers, Sixers have been mentioned. We've talked about it at length. How do you get the team? How do you get him onto the Sixers? I don't see it, but he's been mentioned in rumors to the Sixers.
That'd be terrible.
Why would you do that?
I couldn't imagine. I cannot foresee a package that gets him to the Sixers.
I tend to agree. The Lakers, I can believe, because the league will broker that.
Well, because Adam Silver's Vince McMahon, and he'll make it happen. Yeah. And they won't even have to give up Austin Reeves probably to get Giannis.
Like, I don't know. Getting him to the it's not that I don't see a package. I only see unrealistic packages. You'd be like, anyways, here's Paul George, VJ Edgecombe, and a first.
Like it.
Even though they don't even have that many firsts right now. I think their next first is in like 2029 or something.
I think it's 2027. I think
Is
they're
it really
actually
that early?
It's not their own, but I think they're actually in a decent, a better spot than you'd think with picks.
Yeah, and the league will just give them one to make the deal.
But you have to, it's like, oh yeah, all right, take if you take Paul George's contract so that we can get this deal done, you get the second overall pick and a first to do what you will with, and then you have Giannis and a half healthy Embiid and Tyrese Maxey. But then, like, there's still so many issues with the 76ers roster anyways.
Well, you could do what Declan always recommends, which is just not play Embiid very much during the regular year.
Yeah.
It's kind of what they're doing.
No. Save him.
I love putting together trade packages. I think it's a lot of fun. I love looking at things. But, like, looking at Philly, man, like, I really don't see one.
It also
really
doesn't fit a timeline.
And the Lakers would be easy to
Not
do,
to be
right?
like
The Lakers have stuff. And what about the Raptors? We've talked about them, but let's review again.
The Lakers would be tough.
I think the Lakers would be tough. Raptors, I mean, like, again, I see a path, but they came out and said essentially that they don't want to give up either Scotty Barnes or Brandon Ingram, which in reality you wouldn't have to if you didn't want to. You have RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley who can match the salary, and then like 3 firsts. But if I were the Raptors, I'd be like, here, Brandon Ingram, Emmanuel Quickley, and 3 firsts. Let's get this done.
I hate to push back a little bit, but do I need to remind you of the Los Angeles Lakers transaction history, gentlemen?
Well,
I get it.
No, you're right. Adam Silver is Vince McMahon, and he will find a way to make it happen.
I'll make it happen to the Knicks.
Like, they only have 2 guys whose money would work, and that's Luka and LeBron, and I don't think either of those guys are going out. Like, Austin Reeves isn't making that much money.
Yet.
And honestly, when Austin gets paid, I don't know if he'll be with the Lakers.
Is he not paid already? I thought he signed an extension.
It's like it was like 4 years, 64 or something.
Oh, okay.
That's
value contract.
No.
Now, what about, hear me out here, the Dallas Mavericks? Anthony Davis goes.
So this would be the second half of a 3-team deal then.
Oh, well, I honestly, this trade is not good. When Giannis gets traded, it's not going to be a team on team deal. It's going to be like a 4 or 5 team trade.
Yeah, that's fair.
Just because they're going to need so much stuff to work and all this stuff, and it will somehow result in him being on either the Lakers or the Knicks.
And it will also result in Utah somehow eating $23 million in someone's salary.
Right.
Oh yeah,
and not getting
or
anything.
the Wizards. Or the Wizards.
We should mention the Pelicans.
Pelicans could do that as well. But the Wizards are about to have a bunch of cap space.
John says, if I were guessing based on their histories, I'd say Holland would prefer O'Reilly and Bowman would prefer McMahon. I do agree with that. McMahon's not a center, though. And he's not he's a very fast train. He's got 17 goals and he can do things 5-on-5. O'Reilly, a little bit different, physically player. Triple C in a truck. Eagles are still the Super Bowl champs. You bet.
Until what? Next
9 days?
Sunday?
Yeah, 9 days. That's okay. Bills have never won in a Super Bowl.
Wow. Way to stick it to Declan.
Bengals, how many have they won?
0.
Oh.
One visit.
The Eagles have been there.
None is pretty crazy.
It is. But the Eagles have been around since aught, and they didn't win until whatever it was, 2017. So in terms of droughts, I think they were the longest.
No, I think it's still the Lions.
Oh.
They've been in the league longer than the Eagles.
Well, the Eagles won in 60, but it wasn't called the Super Bowl then. And Bobby Lane won back in the, when Jerry Jones was
wait, what are we talking about?
Oh.
It's the Browns? They were around for a long, long time.
Yeah.
So, and they still haven't won a Super Bowl. Poor guys.
Yeah. But I think they won a championship, though, right?
Maybe. If we're going just by championships, then it is the Cardinals.
Okay.
I don't think they've won since 1927.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think you have to count the championships because the first Super Bowl was 67, right? That's recent history. Not for you guys, but for me.
That's fair enough.
All right. On the way, declinations. These gentlemen are going to give us the top 5 unks, which is slang for really old people, but they don't want to hurt my feelings. Still doing it in sports. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Straight ahead. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Mr. Rooter goes skiing. Sick gear, Mr. Rooter. Are you ready to hit the slopes?
Not yet. I need to report a possible crime.
Oh no, what's happening?
I saw a bunch of hooligans discussing shredding the half pipe. As a plumber, I've taken the pipe
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 at 1240 for Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out at wolfgmcbuick.com. Beautiful day. I mentioned earlier in the week that winter was over, and I'm glad to see that was confirmed by the weatherman. Really appreciate it. Thanks to Josh. Not you, the other Josh. It is time for Declinations, brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca. Article, podcasts, and more breaking news like Trey Ford getting released about the green and gold. The most in-depth Double E football coverage available online, elksnation.ca. Now these young gentlemen are coming up with the top 5 unks, still doing it in the world of sports.
Top 5 unks, still doing it. I'm actually starting off my number 5. It's an aunt, Lindsey Vonn. Now, she actually crashed today. Last night, she crashed during a race in Switzerland. She had to be airlifted from the course. This was ahead of Olympic preparations.
Damn.
But yeah, everything I've read, it seems like she's okay. The Olympics, it's unsure right now. But she's 41 years old. She obviously, I think her first Olympics were in 2010. She had retired, come back, I think twice. Just earlier, this last year, I guess technically, December 12th, she became the oldest downhill skiing World Cup winner at St. Moritz, age 41, her 83rd World Cup win, her first since 2018. And obviously, she was prepping for these 2026 Olympics, obviously praying, hoping she's okay. Don't know what the diagnosis looks like, don't know what the timeline is going to be. But as far as older athletes still doing it, 41 years old en route to her, I think it'll be her 4th Olympics. Like, that's pretty incredible stuff. So she comes in at my number 5.
Coming in at my number 5, give me Mr. Scory Perry. Again, just like we talked about, getting it done. He has been getting it done for the last 3 seasons, but when he's on the ice for the Kings, like, you can almost tell a difference in the way they play the game. And I mean, the dude is old as dirt, and he skates still pretty well, all things considered. So that's my number 5. Very impressive.
I like it. By the way, sorry, this would be Lindsey Vonn's 5th Olympics, and her first. I was way off. 2002, when she was 16. 2002, 2006, 2010, 2018. This one, I guess, would be her 5th. Crazy stuff. Number 4, Trevor Harris, great quarterback, Saskatchewan Roughriders, Grey Cup MOP just this past year. 39 years old, finally gets over the hump. My quarterback, he comes in at number 4.
It is a great story. It is.
Good call. My number 4, Messi. Lionel Messi. What a guy. Last season in the MLS. 21 wins in 43 games played, 10 assists, and 29 goals. Still getting it done at the age of 38, I believe, is what I just read. But old.
The best to ever do it.
The best to ever do it. No doubt.
He is the GOAT of GOATs, in my opinion. When all the GOATs are sitting at the table, when Gretzky's at the table and Brady's at the table,
have you ever been around GOATs?
I talk about them a lot.
Okay.
I actually have. Because my cousins
never sit at the table.
My cousins had a ranch down in southern Saskatchewan, and they had goats there.
They'll jump off a table.
Yeah. Best player in soccer history, and we all know how hard it is to go pro in soccer, harder than any other sport.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And he's he played in the era of Ronaldo, and I think it's almost universal that Messi is like,
and
unless you're a stout Ronaldo fan, then you're
from
to hate
Portugal,
Messi.
And the thing is, Ronaldo is incredible, incredible. And the gap between Messi and Ronaldo in terms of achievement is like another all-worldly Hall of Fame player.
So. For me, Messi is kind of he's sort of like the way Gretzky played, which is cerebral. Like, his passing is just, 3 steps ahead. And when you watch him, you're just like, did he just do that? It's like a Federer passing shot.
I've been going down rabbit holes of guys like former opponents, managers, coaches, pundits talking about Messi, being like, "Yeah, you can't stop him. Like he's just too good." And in his prime, was he ever that? What was it? That 90-goal season he had? My goodness. Number 3, I have Alex Ovechkin. 40 years old from the heart of Moscow. 22 so far this year, 44 last year after breaking his leg and coming back way quicker than any of us expected.
That was insane.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to say it. 919 goals, NHL's all-time leading goal scorer. I don't think he'll get to 1,000. I think that's a bridge too far.
Too slow.
But, man, would it be cool if he did. And as far as Unk's still doing it, Alex Ovechkin, number 3.
And what we can agree is like the hardest damn sport because you're doing everything on skates. Like it's nuts.
Yeah, I mean, like the speed you need to keep up with to play that long is crazy. And now, granted, Ovi's not like he is a guy who's going to sit there, on the circle and just rip them. But like even still, man, incredible.
My number 3 is also from the heart of Moscow, Alexander Ovechkin. So we can just move on since we touched base on how good he is still doing it.
My number 2, LeGoat James. LeGoat James still doing it, was second team All-NBA last year, putting up 22, 6, and 7 this year, 50% from the field, 55% effective field goal percentage, efficient field goal percentage. Second best player ever. Like, what can I say about LeBron? Say what you will about LeBron. The fact he's in year 23 now, like, you got to just tip your cap. And to be able to, he's not in year 23 playing 8 minutes riding pine. He's in year 23 putting up 22, points a night and coming off a second team All-NBA season. So I have LeBron number 2.
Yeah, my number 2, the Little Emperor, the L Train, Benjamin Buckets, Captain L'America, the Akron Hammer, King James. Also my number 2. I just read off a little bit of his nickname role on the old basketball reference page. But again, Declan touched on everything. He's still doing it. Didn't think he still would be. And yet here we are. That guy who tweeted out LeBron just turned 30. This stuff won't be going on much longer.
Man, what a
that's probably
tweet.
The most poorly aged tweet of all time.
Yep.
Beautiful.
And like way worse than the Hyman one. And the Hyman one was crazy.
The
But this
Hyman
one was
one's
like
bad,
10
but like
times worse.
this is so bad. So bad. Anyways, yeah. Number 2.
My number 1, Novak Djokovic, inspired by what he did last night, able to beat Yannick Sinner in 5 sets. He was down 2-1, comes back to win it.
A long match.
Yeah, he's been chasing his 25th major since 2023. And a lot of people said with the emergence of Sinner and Alcaraz, he wasn't going to get it. If he was going to get it, it's going to have to be on hard court. Obviously, he's still got to go through the world number 1, Carlos Alcaraz, in the Australian Open final, who, by the way, has a chance to be the youngest to complete the career slam. But as good a time as any, inspired performance against Yannick Sinner. And the fact that he was able to come up during Rafa and Roger and then surpass them, overtake them, create the legacy he created, let a whole nother generation go by. And now the generation after that is there with Carlos and Yannick, and he's still competing, still playing at the peak. I won't say the peak of his powers, but still playing at such a high level, and is now in the final again. Incredible stuff. Novak Djokovic, Unk.
And Sinner is so furious and scary. They made a movie about him last year called
Sinners. Yep. Very good. My number 1, give me the man with 13 kids, Philly fresh, Phillip Rivers.
Wow.
Last year, 0-3 quarterback record, 63% completion percentage.
One of these
4 tuds, 3 interceptions. No, I'm just kidding.
Like
Number 1,
other.
Novak Djokovic. I just thought it'd be funny to mix it up a little bit because he said, but he was still doing it.
Dude, and
He's
you know
still
what?
doing it. 45.
The
5
reason
years of
the
retirement.
reason I liked your answer a lot is because he's a literal grandpa.
He is a literal grandpa who came. I mean, I thought about putting Yager on this list, quite frankly, because he is, by technicality, still doing it.
That's an admission. We should have had Yager on there. My bad.
Well, is he still playing though?
Yeah, he has. I think it was 3 points this year per hockey DB in, I don't know, 7 games played or something like that.
I mean, he really is just unbelievable. I remember I've written my blog every day since 2003. I know, Nerdvana. And the most excited I was ever writing a blog post was there was a rumor that Yager was coming to Edmonton and I titled it Jagermeister, and all I could think of was Jager and Hemsky on the same line, and it didn't happen.
My apologies. He has 1 point this year in 6 games with the Kladno Knights.
But he's still playing, and Kladno
he's -7 on the ice.
Well,
he's got 10 PIMs.
He was not 10 PIMs. That's two. That's either 2 fights or he's been tripping people like on the regular. Anyway, great list, by the way, gentlemen. I enjoyed that.
Was there anyone we missed?
Yeah. I was thinking as you were doing it, but the one thing that I would have jumped at you on is if you didn't have Corey Perry, but you did, and everybody else. I mean, I didn't realize that Vaughn was still going. That's amazing. Because it's one thing, like in these sports, when you're 18 or 19 or 20 or 22, you're invincible. But when you're like, how old is LeBron?
It's 41.
So like guys who are 23 and are like have never, had to deal with year after year after year after year of rigors of playing in the NBA. They're coming at him every night. And he's not the player he was, but he's still ferocious. I love it. I love the story of LeBron. He also owns the team. Yeah, I know.
That's everyone's dream, buying a team and just putting yourself on it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Why not? If I could, I would. That is a real thing. If I could buy the Toronto Raptors, I'd be like, guess what, man?
You don't think you'd stand out? Like your
shorts? Oh no, I'd stand out. I'd be such a defensive liability. I wouldn't be able to shoot.
People would be mad at you.
Listen,
sir.
They would pick my pockets so bad. But I'm not saying, hey man, I'm your starting point guard. I'd be like, hey, listen, we run the score up by like 30 tonight. Just give me those last 5 minutes, Like, how many turnovers can I get? And coach would be like, whatever you say, sir. You're the one that signs my paycheck. Like, and that's why you're never getting fired, Darko.
I think that the commissioner might step in.
Please. All right, fine. I'll buy the Edmonton Stingers.
The Major Leagues of Baseball banned Ted Turner for a year.
Ooh.
Yeah, he was the owner and he was interfering, managing, doing. I would love to buy the Oilers and put Mark Pouliot at third line center. That's as far as I go.
Has the NFL thought about doing that to Jerry Jones?
Well, I see the NFL. How many NFL owners are under 100 years old?
I don't know, 4.
Yeah,
and they're all 99.
Yeah, so they're like I do that. Like I'm in my mid 60s now, and I like you evaluate, right? It's like, is this moral, legal, whatever? And I think that when the time you're 106, you're just like, to hell with it. And I think that's where Jerry is. And I think that's where the league is because they're all like that. The Atlanta owner, he passed away, right?
No, that was the Colts owner who passed away.
Because the Atlanta owner's got to be 100. I just think the world changes for you when you turn 92 and you no longer play by the rules that everybody else has to live by in a society.
Well, you know what they say. You ever heard about neuroplasticity? Just means the older you get, the harder your brain is, essentially. And that's why the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, exists.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair. You do become, and you're also, if you knew what I was not aware of in your life, like the things that appeal to you, what you listen to, what you watch, your words and slang. I mean, you just get totally isolated from what the young world is doing. And the young world grew up learning your phrases, so they know what words to target and make into new words and make you look like a fool when you use cribbage terms on the radio.
Real quickly, we got this text from Mike. Can you guys give me an update on the curling? I'm driving. Einerson is up 4-2 on Peterson in the 7th end. Law's up 5-4 on Black, also in the 7th.
And
Peterson has hammer.
Yeah, that's the key here. 7th end, so they're not going to score 3, so Canada's in a really good spot. Okay. 12:54. We don't have Steve Lansky. We don't. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to interview Declan about Trey Ford and the Elks offseason. And I'm going to try to ask draft questions. He may not answer them, but I'm going to ask them anyway. That's straight ahead. And we'll talk, obviously, about the Edmonton Oilers game last night. They have one more game in January. And if they win that, they already have a really good record December, January. They've been playing really, really well. I mean, David's been on fire. Hyman's been on fire. Draisaitl's been doing the job. They obviously changed the goaltending. There's a lot of Oiler positives over the last 2 months, so we'll talk about that as well. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. Time for an update with Declan Krueger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly. 780-265-0165. Once again, 780-265-0165. Canadian quarterback Trey Ford has been released by the Edmonton Elks ahead of his February 1st roster bonus, and the Minnesota Vikings have fired general manager Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah today, a shocking turn following an organization-wide failure to make the playoffs this past season. Just one game in the NHL tonight, Columbus and Chicago at 6:30. In the NBA, action gets going with the Lakers and Wizards at 5. Raptors in Orlando, 5:30 line for that one. Currently Orlando -1.5. In the late game in the league sees Detroit and Golden State at 8. Nikola Jokic will also be making his return to the Nuggets lineup when they play host to the Clippers at 7. Scotty scores right now. Einerson leading Peterson 4-2 in the 7th end. Einerson curling with the hammer. Peterson curling with the hammer, excuse me. Laws leading Black 5-4 also in the 7th end. In the AJHL, Devon and Canmore, Olds and Drayton Valley, Bonnyville and Drumheller, Fort Mac and Lloydminster, and Camrose and Grand Prairie all going tonight, all games at 7 o'clock. BCHL, we will see the Spruce Grove Saints in Cranbrook at 7, and the Sherwood Park Crusaders playing host to Blackballs also at 7. WHL will see the Edmonton Oil Kings on the road taking on Moose Jaw, 7 p.m. puck drop for that one. Women's singles championship tonight in the Australian Open, 1:30 a.m. our time. We'll see number 1 seed Arina Sabalenka and 5th seed Alina Rybakina. Golden Bears hockey tonight, Alberta in Minnesota to take on the Bisons. Tonight also we will see Pandas hockey as they play the Manitoba Bisons at the Claire Drake Arena with a 7 p.m. puck drop. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Get ready for an action-packed experience at Rogers Place. The Edmonton Oil Kings are the first choice for family entertainment.
Every home game starts at $20 a seat with extra concession value thanks to Calmont. Kids food combos start at just $7.50.
Sink your teeth into options like hot dogs, popcorn, grilled cheese, pizza, burgers, and more. All Calmont Kids food combos are $10 or less.
Edmonton Oil Kings hockey. The value is king size.
Don't wait. Great seats start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Legacy Heating and Cooling sucks. Yeah, Legacy can now suck your ducts with professional duct cleaning, furnace cleaning, and dryer vent cleaning.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
When you need the filth sucked from your air ducts.
Call Legacy.
When you want cleaner air for your family.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Legacy now offers air duct cleaning. Book in today. Just call Legacy.
If you manage or lead a team, join your peers April 14th to 17th at the Banff Management Course. PA Douglas Training invites you to 3 days of immersive leadership development in beautiful Banff, Alberta. Learn how to manage conflict, motivate and influence others, strengthen teamwork, and improve productivity. Proudly Canadian, PA Douglas has trained over 150,000 professionals. Registration includes 3 nights at the Banff Springs Hotel, breakfast, select meals, refreshments, and course materials. Register now at padouglas.ca.
Diablo Boots sells only Canadian-made work and biker boots made by Canada West. No American or boots made in China, so no tariffs. All of Diablo's boots have replaceable soles and heels for longer life. Sizes 6 to 14 triple E. Buy quality, buy Canadian. And support Canada West and Diablo, the 2 best names in the boot business. So save on boots by Save On Foods. That's Diablo Boots, 3340 Gateway Boulevard on the east side of Save On Foods. Buy Canadian. They're terrific.
Across rural Alberta, volunteers and community groups work hard to make life better for their neighbors, creating new playgrounds, better rinks, and gathering places that bring us together. Vision Credit Union is proud to lend these local heroes a helping hand. Apply today.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick, family owned and community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. The best Super Bowl performance of all time. Prince. He even brought the rain. You agree with that, right? Prince, best Super Bowl performance?
It's certainly up there. Katy Perry with the Sharks.
Well, it sure wasn't The Who. And I like The Who. Watching Boston game from last night. This is Jamie in Beaumont. Watching the Boston game last night. Replay on SN. Arvidsson, it just figures. We talk about needing a good mix for the third and fourth line. I'd say it's the biggest year-over-year need for Bowman. It isn't every year. Or it's just coach's choice of using, not liking players. Well, let's use Arvidsson as an example. Arvidsson, when he's healthy, is a great player. He was not completely healthy last year. He is this year. Boston made a deal with Edmonton so that they could, the owners could, they traded Kane, they did some other things. They wanted to change the mix, and that's understandable. But, Connor Brown, another example, he stayed for an extra year, and he was brilliant in the year that he stayed here and was healthy. But my point about all of these guys, they all want to come play, and they all have names, and they're all famous. But are they healthy? And that's why more and more I'm convinced the Edmonton Oilers shouldn't do anything on July 1. That's where all the expensive guys live. And, we're just ripping on Mangiapane this year. This is 2 years in a row he's not at his best. I don't know that it's an injury. He just might have reached a wall. That does happen too. And Henrique, they brought him in. They signed him. That's all great. But he is not the player that he was 5 years ago. And the Oilers are, if they're looking for Bobby McMahon, one of the reasons they are is because he's fast. They need to be faster than they are currently. When you sign guys in their 30s, you're slow. You're going to be a slow team. It's just the way it is. And for me, the Edmonton Oilers need to change the way they go about their business. And in fairness to Stan Bowman, he has. He signed a bunch of European kids. He signed a bunch of college kids from the United States. And now he's a little bit small up front because he's got Ike Howard and Matt Savoy and Quinn Hudson at the tip of the spear. But Szymanski's a bigger guy. I don't know that he's going to be any more physical than, Noah Philp was, but he's a bigger guy, and that implies certain things, and he's fast enough too, which is cool. I think when you put all your eggs in one basket, as the Oilers tend to do in free agency every summer, we got this guy at whatever million. It really does impact when they don't play well. And Trent Frederick is, I guess, the ultimate example of that this year, although he is playing better. And he certainly played better when he was with the Boston Bruins, and I think that's still in him. So we'll have to wait and see. It's an 8-year contract, so we're going to have a lot of time to talk about it. I wonder where I'll be at the end of that 8-year contract.
Being visited by Declan and I in the retirement home, maybe.
Probably. That would be about it.
I mean, like, what? It's 7 years from now? I mean, if you're still working in radio, that's awesome.
You don't think I will be?
I said if you are, then that's cool.
Edmonton is one of the markets where old guys can work deep into their careers.
Oh, I'm very aware.
Wes, Brian Hall.
Yeah. And so, like, if you're still around, great. Shout out to everybody that'll still be listening to the Lowdown with Lowetide at that time.
It'll be like you have to have a soup can with a string in it listening on your ear, because that'll be my.
How old was Jackie Ray when she retired? She just retired this year, right?
Oh, Jackie Ray's, I think she's younger than I am.
Oh.
Just independently wealthy. That's what that happens there.
Ah, fair enough.
No, I'm teasing. But Jackie Ray, legendary broadcaster. And I miss her. I said that before, but I do. I wanted to talk to her about curling this week, but her schedule, she goes
for a retired person.
No, well, yeah,
her schedule is quite packed. I follow her. Threads account.
Yeah, it's crazy. She goes to in the summertime she goes to golf courses and with containers and packs up food and then takes it to work the following day. She's quite the gig for her.
Yeah,
it really does well there. But the lay down with Lowetide. Well, that has some possibilities because I am a napper. Are you guys a napper? Do you guys nap? Probably too young to do that now.
No, I definitely nap.
I love napping. Don't get around to it all that much.
You will as you go on.
To be fair, when you get home, it's bad. It's probably a bad look for you to start napping.
Yeah. Like I can't. Not on the week. Like there's no way. Yeah.
When I get home during the week, it's more often than not I'll catch a couple Z's. Some days I only like rest my eyes for about 15 minutes.
That's
and then
the way to do it.
Get going. Some days I wake up at 7:30 at night, and that's a real problem.
Why is it a bad form for Declan to?
Well, if he starts napping in the middle of the day on the weekday, he'll be sleeping either on your show or on the Krueger show.
I see.
And seeing as how he only wakes up about sometimes 3, but sometimes 2 hours before coming in here. No real reason for him to be napping.
Jamie and Beaumont, you'll be podcasting from home like Howard Stern. Ha. I did that during the pandemic. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was really good. My little dog was right beside me. The only time my dog has ever been quiet was during the podcast. She knew. Very smart dog. Come on, Lowetide. Frederick career points. After 8 years, 16 goals and 8 assists. Can't skate. Doesn't seem to know his job. Absolutely zero grit. Why 8 years, Stan Bowman? From Tim. Well, Tim, if you didn't watch him with Boston, then, I did. And he's a very agitating player. He's a physical player, and he can score goals. I'm not going to say he's going to score 25. And I think he was miscast at the beginning of the year. But we'll see. It's going to be called the Slowdown with Lowetide at that point. I like that too.
That's a good one. That's a gooder.
I like that one. I think the Edmonton Oilers right now they had a lot of questions to answer at the beginning of the year. They had signed some cats like Frederick, like Mangiapane. They needed to find out about them. Both of them have had opportunities in the top 6, but Podkolzin has come on and eaten some lunch. Hyman has, he came back from injury and I think he's just, I wrote about him in The Athletic today. And there's things about Hyman. Nobody ever calls him a goal scorer, right? So what I did was I looked at the entirety of Edmonton Oilers history, wingers division, And I said, in a 5-year period, the optimal 5-year period, who scored the most goals for the Edmonton Oilers from the wing? So number one was Yari Curry with 290 goals between 82 and 87. Glenn Anderson, 236 between 81 and 86. Now, Mark Messier moved to center in 84, but he did play 5 years before that where he was a winger and sometimes center. He had 170. Zach Hyman, as of last night, 166. So Curry, Anderson, Messier played in the glory, high-flying 80s. And then fourth is Hyman. And then Craig Simpson right behind, also from the 80s. The closest anybody after 1990, who played the large part of their 5-year peak after 1990, Ryan Smith, 96 to 201, 136, then Eberle 127 and Hall 110. So, and look, Hall didn't play with McDavid, and he didn't play on this historic power play. And I get all that. But Zach Hyman is among the all-time best goal-scoring wingers. He doesn't get credit for it. He doesn't have the big slap shot. He scores because he's willing to go to the high slot and low slot and get in the way. How many goals get called back? Like probably 5 a year on average. So that's like 25 over the last 5 years. I think the Oilers have tried to find another Zach Hyman, like Connor Brown and Arvidsson, kind of a little bit similar. And I think they view Frederick as being a middle six guy who can agitate and forecheck and do things that are upsetting to the opponent. But he's got to be able to get there. His foot speed, to me, looks like it's improving. In my opinion, the Oilers' identity is that they are a two-line team. If you go back 5 years, every coach that has come here, all doing the same thing. Dynamic duo. They never had 3 lines, and this is why they won't win the cup, even though it hurts me to say it. They need a third line that can go against other teams' top lines. I talked about that in hour number 1, and that is when the Pittsburgh Penguins of the early 90s needed a boost. They needed something to get them over the top. They acquired Brian Trottier. When Trottier played with the Islanders, Bill Torrey did the same thing. He acquired Butch Goring from the Los Angeles Kings. Not a top-line player, third-line player, but he made that team go. He could penalty kill. He could make another line that didn't include the superstars outscore at 5-on-5, and he could do a lot of things. He could play in the heart of the game. I don't know who that is, and I don't think the Oilers have that center unless they're willing to put Ryan Nugent-Hopkins de facto in the third center job. And that means McDavid with Hyman and a winger, Leon with Podkolzin and a winger, and then Nuge probably getting some responsible wingers and somebody who can fly, like, say, Savoy and, another player, hopefully, besides. Maybe it's Bobby McMahon. I don't know. But I think Nuge is a key, but I think he's a key as a third-line center, not as the number 2 center. Sham says, Tide. How about John Tavares? What's Tavares make? I knew that new contract is a value deal, but I mean, he didn't grow up. He didn't wear Oilers pajamas when he was a kid.
4.389.
Right. Toronto would. I don't think they would trade him here. As Daryl Sittler and Lanny McDonald commercial comes on, and he is a little bit long in the tooth. 35. Speed is less than it was. I don't know that he's a pure center anymore. Oh, this is Cam. I have no clue how the money would work or if he would even do it, but the guy you're looking for is third-line center, Kopitar. Kopitar ran over the Oilers for many years. And he's still, the young players aren't stepping up for the Kings. That's the truth. What would it take to get O'Reilly? Don't know. We talked about it in the first hour. I would think that it would be a pretty penny. But at this point, I think if you're Stan Bowman and you really feel like the center is what you need, then the asking price is less important than, is this really the guy we need? Because they don't have any cap room. And maybe Mangiapane will go. Maybe he'd go to Toronto. I don't know. Maybe, would he go to Nashville? I don't know. Lots of guys like to. What center do you see coming? I don't. I see Bobby McMahon coming, and he's a winger. That's the honest truth. I don't think. I think they're going to. Lazar looks good as a fourth line center. I don't like Roslovic in the middle because he's not a big guy. I like him as a winger, and I have no interest in converting somebody, Nurse to forward or Podkolzin to center. So I think it's Nuge or it's going to be Roslovic. But when you get into the playoffs, all bets are off. Like Janmark isn't 100%. Like he won't play in playoff games unless he's healthy. Lazar looks better than the third line center right now. In January, the puck's going in the right direction for him. He's scored a little more. They're outscoring with that line. And, if you look at the minutes last night played by the Lions, Podkolzin, Draisaitl, Kapanen, 621. They were really good, 76% expected goals. Frederick, Janmark, Lazar, 613. They were 90% expected goals. They did well. Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman, 545. They were 1-0 high danger chances and 79% expected goals. You expect that from them. And then Roslovic with Szymanski and Savoy, 512, 29% expected goals. The line that was the disaster was Nuge, Hyman, and McDavid, 355, 0-2 goals. They had no expected goal share, none. McDavid, Draisaitl, Kapanen worked well. They had a goal, 55% goal share. After that first disastrous period where the McDavid line gave up a couple of goals, and then the fourth line also gave up a goal, the Roslovic line. I guess that's the third line. They were good. They were meh. They were porridge. They were, indifferent until they got hot, but they weren't giving up 10 bail chances as much. And the defense tightened up. And by the way, Nurse Wallman had a pretty good game. I'm hoping that as Wallman gets up to speed, we see more and more of that. You really need a good second pairing along with a third line that we're talking about. The answer is Nuge at 3C. Easier to get a top six winger. Dunner. I agree. In fact, I think Roslovic is a top six winger. And Savoy could be. I think if you move Nuge to the third center job, you got it. Hyman is an absolute finisher. Best free agent signing in franchise history from Devtron. Agree completely. And I'm definitely pushing back on the idea that he's not a scorer. He is. It's that you don't see a gigantic Bobby Hull slap shot and you go, well, he's not a pure scorer. Well, he goes to the areas where he's going to get goals, and he's got a pile of them since he returned. He really does. And that was a concern. Remember, that injury was bad, and we didn't know. One of the reasons that they signed a few guys was they didn't really know if Hyman was going to come completely back. Evander Kane did not. But yeah, Zach Hyman has. All right, we'll take a break. More Oilers talk. I'm going to talk about the Elks as well. I'm going to talk to young Declan here about Trey Ford and that fantastic new wide receiver they signed the other day. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business, and for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Wing Wednesday at First Round. Whether you're coming for the first round, the last round, or a few rounds in between, they've got you covered with half-price wings every Wednesday night. Half-price wings. Over 35 delicious flavors like Cajun salt and pepper, maple bacon, and Inferno wings. Now half price every Wednesday night. Wash them down with a cold pint of Canadian or Coors Light for only $5.75. Half price Wing Wednesdays at First Round in West Ed and now downtown. First Round, burgers, beer, sports.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
Winter snow and ice are nothing to fear when the Lawnmower Hospital's in your corner. Keep pathways clear of snow with the Echo PB770T backpack blower. Or go even bigger with the huge PB9010T. Right now, buy select commercial walk-behind BCS sweepers and get the Echo PB9010T for free. The Lawnmower Hospital has pet-safe, plant-safe ice melt, too. Visit lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital. Happy day today.
He's the only person to win an arm wrestling contest with the Philly Fanatic. The Lowdown with Lowetide, now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's 121. This is the Lowdown on Sports 1440. We're jumping the shark for Wolf GMC Buick. Family owned, community driven. We're making it easy. Visit wolfgmcbuick.com. That was an iconic television show. Did you see American Graffiti?
Blu-ray.
Man, that's a good show. Cindy Williams is in that.
It was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah,
one of the quintessential coming of age movies.
Totally, I agree with you completely. And it was authentic. Even the music, it was just a perfect period piece. And a lot of very famous actors and actresses came out of that.
Oh yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Yep. All right. So I want to talk about a couple of things here. The Canadian Football League is the one league that, even though they try, there's a period of time after the Grey Cup where things go, dormant, like winter wheat, I guess. And you're just kind of waiting for some sign of a reawakening. And the Elks have done that this week. They've made a couple of moves, including today, releasing Trey Ford. And this is an organization that feels like they are, last year they kind of stood upright and began walking around again like a normal CFL team. And I feel good things are coming, but I want to find out from the man who spends a lot of time looking at this team and evaluating what they're doing. First, you can agree that there's something to build on after last year, and I think we've seen that in the signing so far. Fair?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, things were trending up at the end of the season. It was evidenced in their play. Things started to trend up once Cody got in as the number one quarterback. The writing was it was obviously on the wall for Trey. Like, everyone knew this was coming. Everyone knew this was going to happen. But things, I think, are going in the right direction, and they are bringing a lot of the same pieces back on defense. They have a lot of that defensive line has pretty much all come back, with the exception of Jake Ceresna so far.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No.
Do you feel like the thing that I always look for is you've got to have strong starting Canadians, but you also have to have a really good quarterback. Now, Fajardo's been in the league for a long time. He's not the speed merchant that he was earlier in his career when he was with the Rough Riders, but he's a championship quarterback. Do you feel like he is ideal for this job, or would you like to see a substantial backup?
No, I think he's good for it. I mean, yeah, you obviously want an insurance policy, and maybe that is Cole Snyder. we don't really know a whole lot about him. Some people in the organization have said like, hey, like, keep your eye out for Cole Snyder. We're high on him. If he has to come in and he has to do something, like it'll be, fans will be happy with what they're seeing. So, we'll take their word for it. Decent enough insurance policy, but no question, like Cody is the number one guy, and he's who everyone wanted here, and it's great.
Yeah. They upgraded the receiving core with somebody who's familiar with this week. How do you like the receiver room so far?
I love the receiver room. I think they got a lot of talent. We were actually talking about that on Elk Central today. Like, how do you scheme it up? And I'm thinking maybe you put OJ and you put Benjamin Victor, two bigger guys, taller guys who can go high point the balls as my wideouts. Then at the slots, you're looking at Keon and Austin Mack, two guys who have great familiarity with Cody. Like Austin Mack, that 2023 season, 78 catches, 1,154 yards, both good for top 5 in the CFL. And then 6 catches, 103 yards and a touchdown in the Grey Cup. Huge performance, supremely talented guy. The other slot you're going to want there in that 5 receiver set, you're going to want like an Arkell Smith if you get him signed back, Stephen Dunbar Jr. if you get him signed back. Zach Mathis is a guy who I really, really like as well. So they have wide receiver is not a position they lack talent on for sure. Like they got a lot of talent, a lot of places. That receiving core, I think now with Austin Mack, they have like a bona fide number 1, but 2 through 5, 2 through 6, 2 through 7, they have a lot of talent they can rotate through as well.
Do you see them as, by the way, you can click online now and get your season tickets for the Elks. Go to goelks.com. Do you see areas of, like, they've already started making moves, and obviously, the draft of Canadians or people who have flown over Canada is coming up soon in April here. Do you see areas of weakness that still need to be addressed, things that you'd like to see upgraded?
Oh, yeah, the offensive line, like they were just so weak last year, like especially on that right side. Like Carter O'Donnell came in and he made things a heck of a lot better for that club, but that right side was, with Boyko and McKellar, like they didn't get it done. And I think they have some like I like Corte a lot. I like David Beard. I like Carter O'Donnell. But you got that left tackle position. I think you can upgrade Martez Ivey. You can definitely upgrade that right tackle position with Carter playing the guard. So that's the one. Because another thing, like Cody, he can make things happen in the pocket, but he's not, like a Davis Alexander or a Nathan Rourke, the way like he has some crazy escapability where he's going to be able to get out of the pocket, make a lot of things happen. Like he is generally speaking a pocket passer. Sit there, stay protected, go through your reads. You got to keep your prize asset upright, and that comes with upgrading that offensive line.
And if they get a better offensive line, do you expect as much or possibly even more from Justin Rankin this year?
Yeah, I think Justin Rankin should be a guy who's like top 5 early betting odds for the MOP. Like he is a tremendously talented player. He was the PFF first team he was the PFF All-Star, I guess is how they do it at that running back position. The players voted him. The players in the league voted him as the All-Star starting running back. He just wasn't officially chosen on the league ballot. He is a guy who he made a lot of things happen in spite of the offensive line. And if you can get a real offensive line for him to run behind, it's going to be special because he's already a special talent and he's already a special back. And if you can bolster that offensive line, get some guys who can really go forward and push and foot the bill in run schemes, it's just going to open it up more for him.
I don't remember the last guy before Javon Leake who actually ran one back.
Maybe Tony Tompkins.
Maybe. Yeah, but that's a nice element as well, right? Like,
huge, yeah.
I remember the day of Giz where if you left a game that he didn't run one back, you're like, what happened, man?
And I think Javon's really like, yes, you're absolutely right. What he can do in the return game and the way he can flip position and the speed he has is huge. And Justin Rankin's talks about it. He's like, man, he's way faster than me. And that's Justin Rankin saying that. I actually think he's underutilized in the offense. Like I think they bring him in as a rotation piece. I have a dream play set up.
You mean as like a catching balls out of the back, or do you mean kind of complimenting Rankin?
Like I want them to run out of the shotgun set. I want them to run a double back.
Okay.
And so this is the play I had with the 2 quarterbacks on the field. It was when Trey was still on the team because you were allowed to do that. So basically, you're setting up. You got two wideouts. Or like a wide out in a slot to the weak side. You got Cody backside on the strong side, lining up to the wide out. Trey's in at quarterback. It looks like it's a triple option, but it's a fake all the way through. You fake the read to Rand. Javon comes behind. You flip it to him on the speed. Javon laterals it back to Cody. Cody hits Keon on the bang 8. That was my play I had drawn up. It's an awesome play.
Did you show it to the coach?
Not yet, because we haven't had Coach Killam on, but I'm definitely going to when we get him on Elk Central. I'm absolutely going to tell him that play. It doesn't really make as much sense now with Trey out of the lineup because it was a package specifically designed for him and the 2 quarterbacks on the field rule. Doesn't make a lot of sense now. But aside that, like Javon is a guy who absolutely should feature in the offense more. And he should be a guy who's going outside the tackles. He should be a guy who's running sweeps. You can put him as the slot and run jet. Like he is, I think, woefully underutilized because of his speed outside of the tackles in that Elks offense. He's great in the return game, but you need to fit him more in the offense as well, I believe.
Now, I'm not going to do this to you because I don't know any of the names. I've always been interested in the CFL draft. And there was a time when the Elks / Eskimos were brilliant at it. And then maybe a time when they didn't spend as much time on it. By the way, 6'5" for Heinerson right now. Do you like what they're doing? You know, Ford was a draft pick. He's been released. But do you like what they're doing with the Canadians, either by draft or signing?
The Elks, you mean?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I do. Like, there's kind of been an old adage in the CFL that, hey, if you can fill out your ratio by just getting the whole offensive line, Saskatchewan farm boys, like you're doing something right. And I really do think that's true. But to their credit, like they have, look at Terrell Ford. Like he's a Canadian. He's arguably the best field corner in the CFL. You know, you look at Joel DeBlanco, like he's kind of a fake Canadian, but how valuable he was in that linebacking core, playing a really important position in the will. That's huge. Then you look at, some of the receivers they have that Canadian designation as well. That's great. So yes, you want to be able to bolster your offensive line, your interior offensive line with those big farm kids. But when you can have skill position players because here's the reality, like you have to have a set amount of Canadian players out there. So you don't just want to stick someone out there to make the ratio work. You want them to be able to actually play. And when they can, and when they can really contribute at skill positions, it's huge for the team. And yes, I think the Elks have that for sure.
And, it's like, it is really important. And they had, was it DeBlanco was the first pick overall a couple years ago?
In 2024.
And CFL careers aren't like, it's not like they're going to play necessarily 10 years. It could be, 3 or 5 or whatever. So you almost need them to plug in and play right away. And, he had 80 defensive tackles last year. That's the kind of what you want to build around, right? You need 8 of those guys.
Yeah, definitely. And like he came in because of injury really and just made the most of his opportunity, like Brock Mogensen as well at that linebacking core. Then he got his extension as well. There were a lot of guys who shined due to injury this year. And like you obviously don't want players to get injured from a human standpoint also as a team because you put out what you think is the best roster possible. But when they do, and when you find out you have a diamond in the rough and they really end up shining, you're like, whoa, hey, hold on, we got one here. And yeah, like a guy like Joel, he started as a teamer despite being the first overall pick, was playing well on teams. But you always knew he was built for playing, in that base defense and being one of the defensive starters. So it's glad to see him shine. And like he was the most outstanding Canadian nominee. He had a very, very impressive year. Very impressive year.
You talked about Weyburn offensive linemen who throw, hay bales over the fence at length. Recently, as my recall is, the Rough Riders have sort of branched out into what I'll call the skill spots, drafting, receivers or corners, that sort of thing. And they've had some success with that.
Oh yeah. Just extended Keyshawn.
Right. So is that like, maybe there's an opportunity there because if you can get like, I agree with you totally. If you can get like 3 guys on the offensive line and maybe 1 linebacker and 2 receivers, you're pretty much you're really doing well. But you've got to get those guys, and chances are you're not going to trade for them until they're expensive. Mm-hmm. Is that an area that you maybe see that they should? I don't know. I don't know the depth of this year's draft pool, so I don't know. But they're kind of been sneaky good in Regina about like that.
Yeah, like it's a lot of this year's draft specifically. You have a lot of linemen, like a lot of linemen. The highest ranked skill position on the board is this guy named Nick Sinakla, who's out of Montreal. He's a wide receiver, played at the University of Hawaii. I think they have him ranked as the 11th overall prospect. There's a tight end out of Arkansas, Rohan Jones, but like tight ends don't really fit prominently into CFL offenses. So yeah, like it's kind of like I said earlier. You have to have a set amount of Canadians. So if you can get one who's like an actual good skill position player,
Like Samuel
It's
Emilus. Like
yeah,
that
exactly.
guy, he can play.
So good. It's such a bonus. Like Eddie joked back in his day, because we were talking about how locked down Tyrell is the field corner. Eddie was like, man, back in my day, we just threw some terrible Canadian out there and said, like, go stand over there, kid. But now, obviously, like if you have a guy like Terrell Ford who plays that field corner spot, like he's locking down 66% of the field. Like that's a huge bonus to have. If you have 1,000-yard receiver coming out of the slot who can really hit you with the waggle, who knows the waggle because they've played a CFL offense their whole life, that's huge for a team. So
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
CFL is a different league. You can talk to anybody about CFL who's in the CFL. Higgins, one time I was at a dinner and I was mad at him, and I told him I was, and my wife was mad at me. I think Mr. Higgins' wife wasn't pleased with me, but I told him what I thought, and he said, thank you for that. We talked, and we ended up having a great conversation. And the CFL is kind of approachable like that. Did I ever tell you my Moores story about CFL?
No.
So I'm buying a suit, right? This is back in my days in sales. And, the guy's ringing up the whatever it is, and because of my inseam, I've got to get them taken in. That's just the life of Lowetide. So he's saying to me this and this and this, and he asked if I was worked at the sports station because I was wearing a logo jacket. And I said yeah, and he said, oh, I used to play football, and I said, oh, okay. And he said I didn't play for long, and I wasn't great or anything. I said, oh, how high did you get? And he goes, oh, I played in the CFL. I'm like, oh my God. And I'd forgotten his name, which would make the story better. But like, he was shy about it. He was like, man, you get to the CFL, that's a hell of a league. It really, and it matters, it matters to me. That league matters to me. And I want so badly for the Elks to matter again like they used to. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about them.
I got a funny story.
There we go.
All right. So the Denver Bills game 2 weeks ago, standing there, and there's a lot of Bills fans around. And so I'm not too shy to it. I was rooting for the Bills. I really wanted to see Josh Allen get one. And so standing there, and they're down, or it's tied, right? It's tied. I'm walking around. I'm like, okay, like probably going to overtime here or whatever, but we'd really like to see the Bills get this done. And then one of my regulars sitting at the bar is like, oh, well, what happens? And I go, oh, well, they'll just go to overtime after this. And he goes, what? Can't they just punt it through the end zone? I'm like, no, you cannot. No, you cannot.
Because they have the wrong rule book.
Yeah. We were talking about, no, I lied. It was overtime because I'm like, oh, Bills didn't score. They got to get a stop here. It's like, oh, so the Broncos can just punt it through the end zone? I'm like, no, man. I was the first person I've ever met in my entire life that had no idea how the NFL worked and only knew about the CFL.
Well, the CFL matters.
It matters.
I'll tell you a real quick story, and then we'll take a break, I promise. When I was in sales, I used to have as a client John Farlinger, who had Farley Travel. And John, former CFL player, and he legendary stories, and a really genuinely nice guy. So one day I go see John, and we're going to talk about advertising and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. And John I know him. But this particular day he's agitated. And so we're talking, and I'm like, this is not, I'm just going to talk to John because it's not a day for business, because his mind is elsewhere. So I say something like, hey, what's going on, John? And he gets up and he walks over and he gets a former Edmonton Eskimos program, like a media guide. And he throws it at me and he goes, look through it to the roster, find the roster. How many Canadians that are good are on that roster? And I'm like, I don't know, and it's a whatever number. And I'm like, okay, this guy, and whatever. And he goes, right now, in Denver, Colorado, the Broncos are having a practice and they're about to cut a Canadian, and I know they are. And the general manager coach of this team is on the football field at a practice for the Eskimos. Meanwhile, the Rough Riders have a guy on the field in Denver waiting for practice to end, so that kid gets cut and he'll sign there. And he did. That's the kind of passion the CFL deserves and earns and should have again. The Elks, will ride again. They will, I promise. It just has been a really tough time and lost a lot of really great fans along the way, and I don't know if they're coming back. But Declan's generation, they're young, they're all Jack Roslovic's number, and they're going to save the Canadian Football League for old men like me, and I cannot wait. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
This morning, stay out of my way.
Don't threaten me with your bad choices.
No worries. A booster bar from Booster Juice will fix me.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, because they're new. Snack-sized bars, packed with seeds, pecans, gluten-free oats, all sorts of good stuff.
That sounds lovely, actually.
2 different flavors to try, too. Coconut pecan booster bars and harvest booster bars. Want to skip breakfast with me?
I take it back. You make good choices.
Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
The future of female hockey is here. It's season 2 of the Female Super League, the first ever female-only independent hockey division in Western Canada, with teams from British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Featuring 16U, 14U, and 12U divisions, the FSL brings showcase weekends packed with thrilling games, and our 14U and 16U have been pioneering the advanced body checking rule, empowering young players. The Female Super League, where the best in female hockey takes center ice. Details at femalesuperleague.com.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Business owners, if rising electricity costs are cutting into your profits, there's a smarter way forward. Right now, federal clean technology tax credits can cover 30 to over 50% of the cost of a commercial solar system, delivering an immediate return on your investment. And in Edmonton and Sturgeon County, the Commercial Clean Energy Improvement Program offers long-term financing for up to 20 years, making solar more affordable than ever. Lock in lower energy costs for decades and strengthen your bottom line. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com to get started.
Vimy and Don in Hockey are dedicated to skill development for all hockey players. If you know a student athlete interested in growing as a person and a player, register for a free shadow day. Beginner or experienced, this program develops a student athlete skill in a supportive environment. It's a great opportunity for prospective student athletes entering grades 3 through 12 to see what Vimy and Donnan have to offer. Visit vimyridge.epsb.ca or donnan.epsb.ca for more info and to sign up.
We're from Mr. 305. Yeah, you can.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. Anderson's up 6-5 with hammer, 2 shots left. This is over. She's like intense. Her shots, when they come down to the 10th end, her last 2 shots are usually music.
Jackie Ray is outside watching this right now.
Outside our studios?
Yep.
You know, I asked Jackie Ray to be on the show earlier this week, but she couldn't do it.
Well, but she's outside right now.
Yeah.
Well, let's let her watch it.
Are you sure I could go ask her?
No, let her be. Let her be. She's retired now. She deserves to have the right to. This is fantastic. All right.
That was a great guard by Anderson.
Am I an ass for being pleased to see LA and the other Western Canadian teams below the playoff line? LMAO, Jamie and Beaumont. No, not at all. I hate watch the Leafs, and I have since the Frank Mahovlich trade. You know, whatever you enjoy in sports, whatever you enjoy, then embrace it. You don't, you can like I hate the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, I never want them to win anything. I'd rather the Giants win than the Cowboys. And I don't like the Giants, but that's because I secretly really respect them. I hate the Montreal Canadiens because of Sam Pollock, but Pollock was the best general manager in history, even better than Glenn Sather. And Sather and Bill Torrey are right up there, but Pollock was the best. And so I think hate watching comes from respect. That's my own opinion. Yeah, that's going to miss. Oh, man.
All right. Congratulations to Anderson.
Yeah. That guard was just filthy, right?
Oh, yeah. No, that was a perfect one.
Just machine.
I guess she was trying to do the run back, hit her red.
Yeah. Doesn't matter.
I would have loved to see it. I think that gap was big enough for a rock to get through between the two guards up high.
She just
comes through, splits it out, but then
what if she didn't think she could throw it? Right? Like
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, that comes down to it. Ability.
Are they gonna put the Laws Black game on after this? Is that one over?
It probably is. Framer Johnny says, put Roslovic with 97, got Bobby Mack playing with RNH and Savoy. I'm fine with that, except for one thing. If you put Roslovic with McDavid, he's going to go off offensively, and then it's going to cost you a lot of money. Stop signing guys to contracts after they fill the net playing with McDavid or Draisaitl. Surely to God, we would have learned that with Ty Ratty back in the day. Is this the other match?
This is Laws, yeah.
Okay. This is coming down now, eh?
What
time is the final on Sunday?
That's a wonderful question.
Me
it's
and my
probably
friend.
like 5.
Pardon me?
Sorry.
No,
probably
sorry,
like
guys.
5.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry about that. Me and my friends, we had a conversation when we were getting drinks over Christmas break that we should all move to the Yukon and just be a curling team. And we thought we could maybe do it.
Oh, man.
What a
crazy
just
double.
Stupid good. Holy. You curl like that, Josh?
At one point in time, I did. Comparable, at least. Obviously not as good.
If you had pursued it, do you think you could play on a team like that would go far?
If I threw like 400 rocks a day, every day, I would say yes. I can still make the high skill shots. I just don't throw enough anymore. When I was in grade 10, I curled 6 times a week, I think. Curled Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, twice on Thursdays, and Sunday. So what is that? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 6 times a week.
For a radio show that can't do math, we sure do a lot of math.
Yeah, but I did it right.
But the question is, was it entertaining?
Someone texted in, this is the guy that was a scratch golfer.
No, this is not me. That was our former intern, Sam the Record Man, who said he wasn't a scratch golfer. He said he was a 1 or a 2, which signified to me that he was a +1 or +2, which is better than scratch golf.
I don't think he knew what a handicap was.
No. He was definitely talking about, on average, what does he...
Oh, that's right. We covered that. Yeah.
Get more on a hole in comparison to par.
Still pretty good if you're bogey in every hole.
Hey, bogey golf. Let me just do the math really quick here. 90 golfer. That's pretty good.
I have broken 100, but only at Cottonwood and Medicine Hat. But I
And that's
always
a 9-hole par 3.
no, it's
Oh.
a nice course, really nice course. But I don't cheat. Like a lot of golfers I've golfed with, like kick the ball into I never cheat. I always keep fair score. So mine is authentic 102.
Very good. I had the best round of golf in my life. I shot an 84 at Riverside in Fairmont, BC.
Nice.
I was so relaxed. I was on vacation from something. I forget. I was definitely working. I think I was saving up to go to Nate.
Right.
And I was just like so glad to have a little bit of time off. My dad, grandparents, and I went golfing, and I was just in flow state from the first hole to the last hole. I lost one ball, and I parred about half the holes, and then I had a couple bad holes or whatever, but would like regroup. Oh, it was good.
Hockey stick or a snowman?
Pardon me?
Hockey stick or a snowman? 7 or 8?
Yeah, probably more around the 7. Again, I was pretty dialed. It's hard to come back from an 8 and keep it low.
That's true. You're right. Giving up 4 shots.
Exactly, right? Like you're automatically putting a 4 on there. But no, I hovered around the like bogey, sometimes double bogey thing.
Yeah.
Mostly on the par 3s.
Yeah. Displaced you, Connor. I kick your butt at fishing, though. Fishing is great. I love fishing. I haven't fished in years because like they got it at the store, right? But I love, like, if you love fishing, you'll know. You go out like in the middle of the night, just like really, really early. And it's so peaceful, and there's just a certain peace that you have when you're fishing because it's early. Who else would get up at that time of day?
Sorry, Josh here. Sorry, Jay. Meant to tell you that. Josh here.
Yeah, he says, who am I talking to? Connor? He was confused.
Yeah. No, that was Josh. That whole conversation there.
All right, so we're still on Seattle for the Super Bowl.
Yep.
How do we feel about the Wild and the Oilers tomorrow night?
I kind of like the Wild.
Me too. They've had the Oilers number all season.
They're tough.
They are tough. They play tough.
They're not tough the way they were when Lemaire coached them, because Lemaire was like, was that isn't that awesome?
That is such a good freeze from
like
Laws.
You're screwed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lemaire was like, he was like a nutritionist. A nutritionist is someone who's afraid someone is out there having fun eating food. So their goal in life is to take all the fun away. Not every nutritionist, but you get my point. Lemaire was like that. He didn't want anybody to have, here comes the guy who's going to tell them they're screwed. Lemaire was like that because he didn't want, you go on the road, he's like, well, we don't care about entertaining people. We'll just fill the neutral zone. Nobody will get through us. We'll trip them. We'll hold on to them because you could back then. And it was just awful hockey. And he ruined, he get a power play, Gaborik scores. That's basically just the entire Wild back then. But it was just dull as dishwater. And the Wild are not like that now. They can actually play. They're an entertaining team. I thought last night was wildly entertaining, but also frustrating for fans. Oilers have to show up on time. They just do. Watching it is enough to get you, pretty riled up. How far does that Red Rock go if they hit it dead on? Not at all.
Not very far.
And the other one goes out of the way, so you'd be shot rock, but you'd be easy to get out of there.
Yeah,
right?
because Laws has hammer here, right? So the red would stick essentially,
right?
And then all she has to do is just tick it a little bit, and it has to get a quarter of the button.
Okay, so then do you guard that so that you only give up one?
It's the 10th inch. You have to figure out a way to score.
Crap.
And essentially hope that Laws misses here.
Well, damn Sam anyway. This is tough.
It's a tough spot.
We're in a tight spot.
Oh, yeah. But
Declan, any ideas?
Oh, I just hope they're having fun.
I was more a bonspieler than a curler, which meant that I was...
You just went to go drink all the time.
Well, I don't think we're done, but I think Declan's done with us.
No, I was actually a touch late.
Oh, were you? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
About 15 seconds. Not that late.
Man, I got to tell you guys, after yesterday, I was just really looking forward to doing a normal show, and this was a really good one. Thank you for being you. All right, Jason Krueger on the way. Please enjoy your weekend. Thanks for tuning into the Lowdown.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Custom Floors Inc. Floors done right, homes or businesses. Visit the new showroom, 115-771 49th Street. Open 6 days a week, Saturday hours from 10 to 2. You can also visit customfloorsinc.ca and bring the next flooring project to life. In the Scotties Tournament of Hearts was Einerson over Pedersen earlier. Right now, Laws and Black both sitting in the 10th end. We are about to see the hammer. In the NHL tonight, just one game, Columbus and Chicago, 6:30 puck drop for that one. In the NBA, Toronto in Orlando at 5:30. Orlando sitting at -1.5 point favorites for that one. Golden State and Detroit at 8, and the Denver Nuggets playing host to the Clippers at 7. Nikola Jokic returning to the lineup. AJH action, Devon and Cammore, Olds and Drayton Valley, Bonneville, Drumheller, Fort Mac and Lloyd, and Camrose and Grand Prairie all at 7. In the BCHL, the Sherwood Park Crusaders playing host to Black Falls at 7. Spruce Grove on the road in Cranbrook, also at 7. Oil Kings will play in Moose Jaw Temple Garden Center. Puck drop for that one, 7 p.m. Saskatchewan time. And in the sporting world, we had Trey Ford being released today by the Edmonton Elks ahead of his February 1st roster bonus. Minnesota Vikings filed general manager Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah today, a shocking turn following an organizational-wide failure to make the playoffs this season, according to reports. And Laws wins it with the final throw. It will be 8-6 for Laws over Black in this one. Australian Open women's final tonight goes at 1:30 a.m. First seed Marina Sabalenka and fifth seed Elena Rybakina. That's going to do it for us here. Up next is the Jason Gregor Show with Connor Halley. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and